So friends, in this session, we will see super sum question number 19. Go to question number 19. You will find it very interesting. Okay. And you will get chance of applying all your knowledge that you have gained in GST till this point. So question number 19 in super questions. Messrs ABC and Company Chartered Accountancy Firm means supplier of service has its office in Bangalore and is registered under GST in the state of Karnataka. So we are given information about supplier who is registered in state of Karnataka. It submitted following information for the month of April. Statutory audit services provided. How is the supply? So please underline intra-state supply. Okay. ITR filing services provided within Karnataka. So again, what type of supply it is? Intra-state supply. And internal audit services provided to Mumbai client. So it is interstate supply. So you have got details of all sales, means all outward supply, means all services provided. So on this you are going to get output tax. Then going ahead, Messrs ABC and Company had also incurred following expenses in the month of April for the purpose of providing taxable services. Okay, what expenses have been done? So on that basis, you are going to get ITC. Will you get ITC for the car purchased? Car purchased, do you get ITC? It is blocked as per section 17(5)(a). So blocked, so forget it. Don't get caught in the point that it is used for office and all. Doesn't matter. ITC is always blocked in case of motor vehicles. Where it is used for transportation of passengers, approved sitting capacity not exceeding 13 including driver. Second, office rent paid to landlord who is registered in state of Karnataka. So take ITC, no problem. Professional fee paid to Mr. Rajesh, a practicing CA, for professional services availed. So fine, no problem. It is used in course or furtherance of business. So take ITC. It doesn't matter this information that TDS is done under 194J, doesn't matter. It just means that we are paying professional fees. So you can take ITC. And what about computers purchased for office? You can take ITC because it is used in course or furtherance of business. They are capital goods. And one thing you should understand is information is given about CGST and SGST. Information is not given about purchase cost. That's what I want to tell you. Information is given about GST paid, not the purchase cost. Yes, and of course there is no IGST. No IGST means there is no any interstate purchase. All these are intrastate. Now see, out of the above four supplies, okay, landlord of office to whom rent was paid, underline, did not upload his GSTR1. So if he does not upload his GSTR1, means he does not give details of his outward supply, so it will not get reflected in your GSTR 2A 2B. So you cannot claim any ITC. So you will lose ITC of how much? So this 450, unfortunately you cannot take ITC. Conditions, section 16 subsection 2 clause B. There was not clause B, section 16 subsection 2. There was a condition. What was the condition? That the detail of the sale, means outward supply, should be declared by supplier in his GSTR1, that is statement of outward supply, and that should be reflected in the statement of inward supply of the recipient of supply. But that is not happening. So you will lose ITC. Question is, compute net GST payable in cash. So even if not given, always net GST payable in cash minimum. Minimum net GST payable in cash means your utilization of ITC should be best. Best possible efficient way you should use the ITC. And now, what are the rates of CGST, SGST, IGST on outward supply? 9, 9 and 18% respectively. And eventually, what is the question asked that you have understood? So, eventually, you have to calculate net GST payable. So, it is output tax minus input tax credit. It's a 8 marks question. So, in exam, comfortably, you could have taken 8 into 1.8. These many minutes. So, what is 8 into 1.8? I think 14.4. So approximately 14 to 15 minutes you can take for this question and comfortably score 8 out of 8 marks. Now what is the output tax? And all conditions are fulfilled for taking ITC, other conditions. And this supply values are given excluding GST. Okay, so what is your output tax? On this intrastate supply of 1,20,000, you will take CGST, SGST at 99% each. So how much you are getting? 9% of 1,20,000? 10,800. So 10,800 each will be your CGST, SGST. How much you are getting on 1,60,000? CGST, SGST at 99% each. How much? 14,400. And finally, on this interstate supply, 1,80,000 into 18%, 32,400. So this way you can get output tax of CGST, SGST and IGST. Now what is your ITC of CGST? 18 plus 3, 21,000, and same is your ITC of SGST. That's it. So simple. Let's do it. So we will do it. Then I will show you the solution also. Write down. So what is the first step? So you cannot see any opening balances of ITC. There are no opening balances of ITC. Fine. So can I start? Can I say write down computation of output tax, of Messrs ABC and Company for the month of April. Computation of output tax of Messrs ABC and Company for the month of April. Can I start like this? Got it. Particulars, and you have got which all output taxes? So you can do particulars, CGST, SGST, IGST, figures in rupees. Particulars, CGST, SGST, IGST, figures in rupees. Have you given the heading systematically? Have you done the format? A point, statutory audit services. Statutory audit services in bracket intra-state supply. Statutory audit services in bracket intra-state supply. Close the bracket, open another bracket, write 1,20,000 into 8% each. Into 9% each. 1,20,000 into 9% each. Are you getting 10,800 each? Check. 10,800 each. Next, so 10,800 CGST, 10,800 SGST, IGST dash. Next, ITR filing services in bracket intrastate supply. ITR filing services in bracket intrastate supply. So that's going to be 1,60,000 into 9% each. So as you had told me, 14,400 each. Check 14,400 each of CGST and SGST. Dash in case of IGST. Next, internal audit services. All of you, internal audit services in bracket interstate supply. Interstate supply. Open new bracket and show the working. 1,80,000 into 18%. What it is? Figure 32,400. Next line, please calculate therefore total output tax and tell me what is your total output tax. For CGST 25,200, same for SGST, that is 25,200, and for your IGST 32,400. Very simple question. Did you all get output tax? I will have to formally show working of ITC. So leaving 1 2 lines, write down computation of input tax credit available for ABC and company. Computation of input tax credit available for ABC and company for the month of April. For the month of April. Computation of input tax credit available to ABC and company for the month of April. Have you? Particulars CGST, SGST. Just make 3 columns, means including particulars. Particulars CGST, SGST, of course, figures in rupees. Have you all got it? A point. See, wherever you are blocking the credit, we can write the notes for that. Remind me. We will here take only on what is ITC is available. A point. Professional fee. Professional fee. In bracket, ITC is admissible. So please take 18,000 each of CGST and SGST. First ITC you have taken is on professional fee, 18,000 and 18,000. Next, on computers purchased. On computers purchased, again in bracket, ITC available, 3,000, 3,000. So next line, therefore, total input tax credit admissible for the month. So is your total input tax credit admissible for the month 21,000 each? All of you are getting 21,000 each of CGST and SGST. Shall we go ahead? Now, to absolutely nothing is remaining in the question. Leaving one two lines. Computation of net GST payable, isn't it? Computation of net GST payable. Computation of net GST payable. Particulars. Now see, payable will be all three, na? Because you output taxes of C, S and I. So particulars CGST, SGST, IGST. Figures in rupees. Computation of net GST payable. Particulars CGST, SGST, IGST. Figures in rupees. Shall we start? Start with A point. Output tax. So your output tax, is 25,200, 25,200 and 32,400. Is it done? A point. Output tax. Do you have ITC of IGST? No. That would have been utilized first, but you don't have. So then you will touch CGST. So next line, less ITC of CGST utilized to pay output tax of CGST, isn't it? ITC of CGST shall be first utilized to pay output tax of CGST and balance, if any, IGST. So I don't think any balance will be left because ITC of CGST is totally you have is 21,000. So use entire 21,000 in CGST column, 21,000 in bracket. All of you done till this point? Next line, less ITC of SGST utilized to pay output tax of SGST. So what is ITC of SGST utilized to pay output tax of SGST? Yes, friends, 21,000 in SGST column in bracket. So next line, therefore, net GST payable. So please tell me, what is your net GST payable of CGST, SGST and IGST? Is it 4,200, 4,200 and finally 32,400? That's it. So simple question. Write down notes. Without fail, write down notes. First note. First note. All of you are onto notes. First note. Section 49, subsection 5 of CGST Act. Section 49, subsection 5 of CGST Act states that states that states that ITC of CGST states that ITC of CGST shall be first utilized to pay output tax of CGST and balance if any yes, to pay output tax of IGST. Clear? Full stop. Continue. Further, ITC of SGST shall be utilized to pay output tax of SGST. Further, ITC of SGST shall be utilized to pay output tax of SGST. Further, ITC of SGST shall be utilized to pay output tax of SGST and balance if any to pay output tax of IGST. Clear? First note. Second, go to second note. Section 17, subsection 5, clause A. Section 17, subsection 5, clause A, small a. Section 17, subsection 5, clause A of CGST Act has blocked input tax credit has blocked input tax credit has blocked input tax credit on motor vehicles used for transportation of passengers used for transportation of passengers where the approved sitting capacity including driver in bracket including driver close the bracket does not exceed what 13 does not exceed 1313. Okay, full stop. Continue. Hence in given case ITC is blocked. Hence in given case ITC is blocked on car purchased by the firm even if it is used for official use even if it is used for official use. Clear? And then last point, last note of this question. As per section 16 subsection 2, as per section 16 subsection 2 of CGST Act, as per section 16 subsection 2 of CGST Act, one of the condition for claiming input tax credit, one of the condition for claiming input tax credit is that the details of outward supply should have been furnished. Details of outward supply should have been furnished by supplier. Details of outward supply should have been furnished by supplier in his statement of outward supply. In his statement of outward supply. In his statement of outward supply, that is GSTR 1, that is GSTR 1, and that should be reflected in GSTR 2B, and that should be reflected in GSTR 2B of recipient of supply. That should be reflected in GSTR 2B of recipient of supply. Full stop. Continue. Since this condition is not getting satisfied, since this condition is not getting satisfied, since this condition is not getting satisfied with respect to, since this condition is not getting satisfied with respect to office rent paid to landlord, comma, ITC of GST paid, ITC of GST paid on office rent, ITC of GST paid on office rent will not be allowed. ITC of GST paid on office rent will not be allowed. Okay, so I hope all of you understood it and got correct final answer of 4,200 each of CGST, SGST and 32,400 of IGST. Important was not only getting the final answer, important also was presentation. And all the time you should understand from where to start the question. Okay. In most of the super sums which we are covering, the final question is net GST payable. So you have to go from output tax minus input tax credit. But point is from where to start. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you. So now we will see the next question. Okay, but that's it for this question. Thank you.